Hello, Mr. Joester. Seems you have a new rent-a-girlfriend chapter today. And, I'm ready to read it. Let's do this. So, before we start this chapter today, I did want to say that I noticed something interesting. So I went back and read a few chapters behind before recording this, and I noticed this last time and I wanted to record it but didn't put it in. Anyways, the way Kazuya starts talking in last chapter, or chapter 163, the way he says it sounds a lot like how he talked to Sumi when Sumi wanted to know what he was going through, and the way he tells the story indirectly. And I feel like that's what he's gonna do here. He's not gonna confess, he's gonna tell her how he views her. And in the process, it's gonna get her to tear up and stuff. And so it's not a confession, it's representation of how he views her and why she should be able to open up about herself. Anyways, new chapter, let's do this! Before he could think, his feelings overflowed and crystallized into words. Right then, why did I say that? To this day, I'm not sure. Some people out there, when faced with a trembling girl, might be able to think, well, I'm just a client, and put up with it. But me, I don't have it in me. My perfect girlfriend, she's pretty, stylish, kind. Do the words crisis management mean nothing to you? But when I'm being pathetic, she's always there to chew me out. And sometimes, she's even kind of scary, but she's a bright light through and through. Her smile is incredible. Haha, you're such a dork. She's cute. And sometimes she cries just a bit. Oh, I love that. Oh man, I love how he's looking away just a bit like that. She's usually really tough, and when times are hard, she doesn't let it show. Grandma is in pretty bad shape. I think that will be just fine. Only fools have regrets. I don't have a shred of talent. She tells herself she did what she could and looks to the future. She lives her life with nothing held back. When you really want something, you should put everything else aside and chase it. Life's more fun that way. She spends all of her time cheering up a loser like me, and just having her there by my side gives me courage. Even when she's completely losing it, she doesn't want to impose on anybody. And even though when she's around me, she always wears a smile. Sometimes, just when times are just so hard, and only a little bit, she cries. They look into each other's eyes. He doesn't falter. Grandpa's asleep. Chizuru wakes up. Huh? Feeling lonely? Hop in. Grandma, do you ever get lonely? Sure I do. What? You do? What do you do when you're lonely? I wrap my arms around you like this and squeeze you tight. As long as I have you and Katsuhito-san, I'll be just fine. I love you so much, Chizuru. You are my pride and joy. Aww, she drops a blush. He gets her, so she's nervous. She drops a single tear, wipes it away, and another one comes from the other side. She begins to cry more. She can't stop. More tears come down. Kazuya looks at Chizuru. Grandpa, Grandma, Grandpa. He begins to tear up too. Grandpa! It was like a dam had broken. Mizuhara kept crying until she went a horse. Her figure seemed 100 times smaller than it usually did, but her sobs? There was nothing small about them. I had never in my life felt my heart ache so badly for someone. Oh, a face you'd never shown me. You don't need to be as strong as you think. Next time, after the tears. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna keep it straight with y'all. This was just one of those in the moment chapters. It needed to be portrayed this way. It was absolutely fantastic. He spent so much time on effort, specifically on how to express the emotions. The panning, the slow positioning to Shizuru's face, and each page, just slowly her tearing up more and more, and her trying to wipe the tears away, trying to stop it, trying to pretend it's not there. The way the 6-page paneling all to the build-up to the emotional 7th page is just right in your face, and it's like Shizuru's like opening up, her emotions are coming out. That was fantastic. That's how you do build-up. That is how you do build-up, and that's why I always say the build-up in this series is fantastic. It's super well paced, super well executed. That moment where she runs into him and she just grabs him, that was, oh my god. And just his face, he's like, he wasn't expecting that. He was not mentally ready for that. I think maybe if he hugs her, he thinks that it'll take her out of the moment, and I kind of understand why he doesn't hug her. So Kazuya's crying too, but it's not about him. It's not about his emotions, it's about her emotions. And if he hugs her, he will take her out of the moment. This is an extreme level of restraint. He's showing serious restraint by not hugging her. He wants to hug her, but they're not there yet, and he knows it. He knows they are not there yet, so he restrains himself and he stops himself from trying to hug her. He feels her pain, he feels her sorrow, and if he hugs her, it's not fair to her, so she needs to just let out all these emotions. Kazuya is so mature. Kazuya is so mature. He's matured so much up until this point. And what's sad here too, this is her expressing her bent up feelings about her grandpa as well, not just her grandma, and you can tell just because she's screaming grandpa too. They were her real parents. Her grandpa and her grandma were her real parents. And so when she's screaming these things out loud, it's her letting her feelings about her grandpa come out too, because she's held those in as well. She's calling out for her grandparents. She's not grabbing onto Kazuya, she's grabbing onto to her grandparents. She's calling for them, she's not calling for him. And so him just standing there and letting her vent her emotions out, it's again not about him, it's about her feelings, her emotions, and that's what this entire date has been. It's just been this build up towards Shizuru finally opening the floodgates, going into Ba Sing Se, y'all. We're gonna bust through Ba Sing Se. We're finally in. I think maybe he'll hug her after or something, and the fact that she showed this to him and no one else proves that their relationship has gone past that point. She can finally express herself to him. She can finally show her weakness to him. She is no longer tied down by this wall that she's put around herself. Of course, it's gonna come back, like it's not just magically gone. That's just something the series likes to express. For example, in the way that Kazuya's depression doesn't go away, this isn't something that'll go away easily. However, if she maintains her sense of loss but goes to him for comfort, it would fit the portrayal of loss and work for her character, since she does what she really wants to, being to reach out for comfort. This is a good first step. This is an amazing first step, in fact. Shizuru was finally able to express her true emotions to him, because that's just who she is. Grandma Sayuri said this in the very beginning. When she was a kid, she would always come when she felt lonely, and right now, she's lonelier than ever, and she needs someone. And when Kazuya stands up like that and just tells her how he views her and tells her how he understands her, how he knows who she is, it was him conveying his emotions and what he really likes about her as a person, something very close and dear. It was him saying, you can be vulnerable with me because I already know you, that she can trust him. It opened the floodgates. He said it himself. It opened the floodgates. And when he looks away, when he says sometimes she cries, he's saying, I know that you cry. Stop lying to me. I'm aware of this. He looks away there because he's like, these are the parts you don't want me to see, but I see anyway. It's such a clever little trick with the art. It's such a clever way of saying, hey, look, like you think I'm not looking, but I really am. And the finale is him saying, I see you. I know you have emotions. I know you cry too. Stop trying to hide it. And then he looks her dead in the eye and he's like, I know. Stop trying to lie. I know. And Kazuya is finally able to see clearly, without any obstruction, the true Shizuru. Not Mizuhara. And there you go, y'all. This is why I don't call her Mizuhara, because Shizuru is her real name. This was honestly a fantastic chapter. As I explained last chapter, this entire arc was set up for this moment. It was all for this moment, so Kazuya could tell her this. And as I explained earlier in the very beginning of this too, he explained Chizuru to herself, essentially. He explained to her how he views her and how he really understands her, just like how he did with the Sumi situation. He's not confessing per se, he's just saying, this is who you are and this is who you've been to me, and I understand you, and it's okay for you to cry. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay for you to really express yourself around me, and I've seen you cry already. Stop hiding it. I'm here for you. And essentially it was Kazuya's way of saying it because he doesn't know how to say it any other way. He doesn't believe he's close enough to her as a normal person, as something more than a client, and if he goes about it like normally, it might end up pushing her away. And so the way he goes about it in this chapter, absolutely fantastic. Like, he essentially wiggled himself out of a terrible, terrible situation. I love the beginning intro part where he says other people would just bear with it, they wouldn't say anything. And it's true, it's very true. Other people would not say anything, and the fact that he himself says something shows that he really cares about her. This is a selfless form of love. This is a true expression of the heart. He was telling her exactly how he felt about her, and her running into his arms like that honestly just not just only proves that she needed connection. She's a human being, it's understandable to do something like this, but also she trusts him. Chizuru actually trusts Kazuya, and her expressing like this is very important. And oh my god, I'm really curious where it goes next chapter. Cliffhangers. I'm really curious where it goes next chapter, because what now? She vented all of her emotions. She opened up completely to him. And so now she has to, like, she can't put the wall back up anymore. No, like, Kazuya's gonna be like, don't do that shit. Don't do that shit. I'm not cool with that. Tell me how you feel. This is essentially like when you're talking to someone and they open the floodgates. They're the ones who started the conversations. It's like, okay, you opened the door. You can't close it now. You can't just do that to me. That's not okay. And that's what's happening with Kazuya, and that's an amazing thing for him. And so next chapter will most likely involve them sitting down and talking about this and really opening up. And then what I would really like to see also is if Chizuru can, like, come up to him and be like, hey, I need some time with you. And that would be really interesting because that's what she does with Sayuri. So it's like, it's a very touching moment, and I would really like to see that in future chapters. I think they'll finally, like, sit down and be able to talk about this and really open up and kind of understand their character with one another and be vulnerable. Like, this is an amazing first step, not only for Kazuya but for Chizuru. Like, Kazuya was able to truly express himself to her, like really say, this is how I feel about you. And it was one of those things where he just accepted his emotion, because ironically, just like Chizuru, Kazuya doesn't accept his emotions. They do the same thing. They both do the same thing. It's just in different ways. Chizuru bottles them up. Kazuya tells himself it's not okay to say them. Chizuru just bottles them up because if she opens up, it's vulnerability, it's weakness, and you can't have weakness because every time you're weak, you get hurt. That's how she views it. Kazuya has been hurt already. He's opened up so many times, he's been hurt. And so he tries to lie to himself and trick his way into thinking, hey, I'm not gonna open up my emotions and express myself. But he's matured, he's improved as a person, and so in the process now he's like, hey, no, I can do this, I can open up, I need to do this because it's not for me, it's for her. And if I keep holding back, she's only gonna get more hurt in the future. I care for her and I really want to show her this. I think this will honestly be the spark towards their romantic relationship. This is essentially that moment where she will honestly start opening up to him and expressing herself to him. And they will have many more interactions like this in the future, and they will actually be able to talk to one another comfortably. I think from here on out, the series is going to transition into resolving everything that is left within the story, and actually slowly transitioning towards the ending. I want to say slowly, I don't mean like, oh, it's gonna happen in 20 chapters. No, we're probably gonna get like 60, 70 more chapters. You're funny if you think it's about to end that quickly. No, there's so many thumbnails. There's so many thumbnails. What do I pick? What the heck do I pick? I don't know what to pick. I had never felt in my life my heart aches so badly for someone. I think that line is like Kazuya truly understanding someone else's pain. 100% truly understanding someone else's pain, because Kazuya has never had a proper emotional relationship. You know, like one that's like really close, like not just a best friend, like someone you share everything with, someone you can really share your true person with, express yourself with them. And so, because he's shared his all with Chizuru, he kind of knows her, but she hasn't shared her all with him. When she shares her all with him like this, he truly feels pain. He truly understands what actual pain is.
No pain.
The type that really hurts because you don't want this person you honestly love and cherish, to feel this way. You don't want them to feel sadness. And it sucks, and it hurts, but it's good for you and you need to do this. It's akin to a wake-up call. Like, for example, in sports animes, when first getting in, the person's first like starting to really understand what sport is and blah blah blah, and they face this person who's just so much better than them, and they start to come to a realization. It's like, oh, this is how this sport can be played. It's like that. This is how emotions can be expressed. This is how emotions can be felt. I never knew I could feel emotions like this because I've never been in a true emotional relationship like this one. And so when it finally happens, you're like, oh, I've never felt this way before. This hurts. I feel a lot of pain. And I think one of the reasons Kazuya is crying too is like not just because he loves her, it's the fact that this person who has been so strong and so powerful has held it in for so long, and in the process, you've held it in. So Kazuya, in a sense, indirectly also did what Shizuru does. He's held in his feelings because she's held in her feelings. And in the process, when she tears up, she starts crying. He's like, my emotions are coming out too because I've been holding it in just like she has. Someone you truly love lost someone they truly love, and it all just broke apart. She needed to really express that. Yeah, Shizuru is a very emotional person, and it's very clear from these chapters. It's just because she holds it in so much, she's not able to express it as well. And this is very important for her, because if she starts doing this more, crying and stuff, which is really important for her character, she will start to open up and honestly change as a person because she's able to express her emotions. This person who was so grand, so untouchable, so far away, feels so small now. And that's such a perfect representation of idealizing someone, because in reality, they're human too. That's the thing that has been always going on with Kazuya's character, because he's always idealized her, he's always viewed her as someone who's grand, and the way she's been presented to us has always been as someone who's grand and amazing, and you can't touch her, Shizuru's amazing, she's best girl of the year. She's a human being too, and she's an emotional human being at that, and it's okay to go and express your emotions. It's just Shizuru has held them in for so long, so they just burst out. That's truly an amazing mirroring of how people who hold in their emotions, it's like the emotions have built up so much, they've gone to such ludicrous heights that when they're finally let out, it's like a bellowing scream. Shizuru's literally held this in since her high school years, and then of course it happened again now, and it's like she's practically at a breaking point. Like it's either you cry like this or you break as a person. Thank God she cried like this. Don't need bad endings and Rent a Girlfriend, thank you. We've had enough of those. Get the fuck out, mommy. We don't need your shit here. You're pretty, but you're evil. You walk in and organ music starts playing. No thanks. I'll pass. This isn't Davy Jones's Locker. And it's all expressed through the art. You don't need to tell me what she's feeling. Show me. And that's how you show me what a person's feeling. This is literally how an anime would do shit. This is literally how an anime would go about showing you how someone is feeling. Like, exactly that. And Miyajima's like, oh, you think you can do better than me? Hold my beer, son. Here you go. When the anime gets to this part, if it can do it half as good as this, absolute perfection. Absolute perfection. Shizuru is gonna like feel a lot better tomorrow. She's just gonna be like, okay, I vented my heart out. Fuck, I had a moment with him. I really hope it doesn't transition too quickly into the next chapters. I hope that they maybe sit down and talk. I think a good thing to do here would be for them to sit down and talk. That would be an amazing moment in the next chapter where they just sit down, have a nice talk, and just have her maybe tell him about how much Grandma Sayuri means to him, what she's done with her. Maybe she'll tell him a story about her. Maybe he'll tell her what Sayuri said to him and how like she really needed a hug or something like that. And then he'll take a step forward and hug her or something like that. And I think what's gonna happen next chapter is honestly they'll sit down and talk. It won't be just a quick rush, and then they might end up like staying up all night or something, and that would be so wholesome if they just sit there, talk, and just stay up all night just talking about it, and then they get home super late and they're like, fuck, we're exhausted, and then they could have like more moments with each other, just interacting, and maybe she'll come and visit him whenever she feels like crying or just being with someone. I think that would be amazing, where Shizuru just constantly visits him like she does with Sayuri when she was a kid. She will come and visit him and give him like ask for a hug, just ask to be around him. And God, that'll make Ruka real fucking jealous. I know that for sure. Ruka fans are gonna be upsetty spaghetti when that shit happens. There's so much imagery, there's so much presentation. Like, man, come on, like this shit's amazing. Who the fuck needs a 7-page Muda when you can get 7 pages of Shizuru breaking down and finally opening up her emotions? Thank you, Ryuji. Thank you, Ryuji sensei. This is how you do it. He knows. Bro, you don't understand how long I've waited for this. This is something like the entirety of the fandom has had like discussions about. They've literally like sat down and just be like, okay, I know Ruka's a thing, but Shizuru needs a fucking hug. This is how you make the fandom collectively cry. You can hear the sighs from across the fucking ocean. That's how much people are crying of relief right now. Like, honestly, this chapter, the best way I can put it is just instant relief for anyone who's been waiting for this moment. Like, honestly, when you get to the next chapter, you're just gonna be like, oh, I just feel so much better. I just feel so much better. Like, instant relief. Most of your stress has been vented out. All the stuff that's left to be like resolved is like stuff we can deal with as they come. Like, the next chapters are just gonna be so therapeutic. Like, to my fucking soul. Like, honestly, because like this is the thing we just needed to happen, and it finally happened, and now we're like, okay, it's all steady from here. Everything's gonna calm down. Everything's gonna be okay. And then you can start breaking your hearts all over again when you start resolving the shit with Mommy and Ruka and Grandma Negami and Kibe and literally lying to literally everyone else. Yeah. But listen, we're slowly transitioning to the end game. Everything is a-okay. All the chapters of Rent a Girlfriend I've read this far have been fantastic, but this one, honestly, gonna say it right now, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 chapter. You can't tell me otherwise. This is a 10 out of 10 chapter. This is how you write a chapter. This is how you do a climax to a big moment like this. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic, Mihime. This is how you make me feel stuff. I know I didn't cry, but I'm really tired, okay? Whew. Oh man, I am looking forward to what is next. So I hope you guys really enjoy this content. I love this chapter. If you really enjoyed my reaction, my review, please leave a like, hit subscribe. I really appreciate it if you guys subscribe. Hit that bell icon if you want to keep up with the uploads, because, you know, I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. And so for now, I've been Fate, and if you haven't noticed, I'm really fucking emotional right now because this chapter was amazing. I'm really looking forward to what happens next time in Rent a Girlfriend, and I'll see you guys there. Also, look forward to my Sumi chapter review. I'm gonna do this separately since, you know, Sumi deserves her own time. Sumi deserves some wholesome time. This chapter hit me a little too hard to put together with that one, so we're gonna keep them separate. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Peace out. Walls of Ba Sing Se have broken down, and Kazuya is looking like the f***ing Fire Nation. Oh yeah, let's do this, boys.